Oh, I love all your faces. It's so nice to support the supportive. It's like, I learn from you, you learn from us, where we share the knowledge as we go out into the world. Not that we're going far, but welcome in this morning. Welcome your body. Welcome everything that is the food body, all this squishy stuff, all the hard stuff. Welcome it. You know, I've heard a lot of people say, well, I've put on weight. Welcome it. You know, maybe the body needed a little more to protect itself emotionally, to protect itself in some way. Needed a little more of that solid energy or that stickier energy to keep the ethereal energies a little more at bay. Welcome it. Settle into the feet. And then settle into the breath. And the breath as an invitation into the inside, into the inner world. And once the body and that inner world start to kind of share in that symbiosis where there is no separation, allow a word to arise. Whatever the word is. Not saying whether it's a feeling or an image or whatever. Allow a word. And then whatever that word is, allow the imagery to come with it, as long as it's not imagery that goes into story. Because in the silence is where the truth comes. Breathe around the images, the verbiage, and notice whether that's something that we want to continue to invite inward and deeper, something that we know to be true, or whether it's something that's unsettling. Either or. Today's card is the context card, with her wild red hair and her ghostly pale face. And then we'll read as you continue to breathe and you continue to settle. There is no need to discriminate, separate, or label things as good or bad. We are one spirit, one life, one breath, living one eternal moment. Dividing life into categories brings suffering and creates imbalance. Ours is a never-ending story, full of new beginnings and adventures. Embrace it, live it, love it, be it, invent it, create it, believe it, dramatize it, write about it, meditate on it, breathe it, be healed and invigorated by it, be joyful because of it. And above all, remember that you are it. Breathe it. Take the hands, interlock two circles, like two links in a chain, and give it a little bit of a snug pull. And then choose whether you want to keep this open to receive, or whether you want to curl them down and in and flip to seal in. Holding one hand inside of the other. If we're open, we're in front of the heart or maybe the third chakra energy center. But if we're folded, let the hands move where they need to move. Notice where that word and the words from that randomly drawn, it wasn't even a drawn card, it fell out of the deck. In our household, whatever falls out of the deck is yours. We say that's the angels telling us what we need to know. Wherever you've allowed this to sit, start to allow it to make little circles. Those circles as a mechanism to stir. It's easy to say, I am who I am at this point in life. And then it is also said that those that stop learning, stop growing. And we are in a giant learning moment in our history. What are we going to do with this point in history? Allow those circles to grow and encompass more than one space on the front side of the body. Allow the stirring energy of those interlocked circles, even if you're up here, allow those interlocked circles not to be broken. As your male and female energy is the sun and the moon. And it is the truth and it is the perception. Much of what is going on is merely our perception because we will never know the full truth. And that is frustrating for a lot of people. Stir and stir and stir until those arms start to lift and we start to move through the shoulders. You can move quickly, look like breakdancing, or you could move really slowly. You could move the upper body within it. But truth and perception are interesting terms. Because there's one of my favorite memes that circulates through the internet is, this is you, and it's a line. And then there's a tiny little space on the end, and it says, that's how much people actually know about you. Because this is me, and this is what I know, but this is all that anybody else can perceive. So my truth might be different from what people perceive about me. And I can try to write words down, and I can try to put words to it, and it may not be enough. So stick with your truth. Interlock those circles. Those are your truth. And it doesn't matter the perceptions around it. Pause as those circles grow deeper. Pause where you are and then start to take them in the opposite direction. And it may feel strange at first because we are so used to moving in patterns. Those patterns are perceptions that the body has. I get up in the morning, my feet hit the ground. I stretch or I yawn. I look at the clock. I stand up. I either turn around and I pull the covers up, or I march to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I wash my hands. I look in my own eyes. I see what I see, then I brush my teeth. I mean, it doesn't change a whole lot. Those are my body's perceptions of time and space and what I've created. The next time those arms creep up, let them rise. Either hold your circles tight and in, holding to that truth, or open up, making it look a bit like a cosmic crown over the top of your head, because maybe your truth is being shaken. And we either need to release something or pull it in. Pull in new information. And the information comes from true source. Not another News outlet article with a bend. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. And then let those hands settle back in after all the movement. Right back to where we started. Most things are being pulled out of context within our own beings. Breathe the breath in. Let it meld with the walls of the lungs and diffuse into the food body to invigorate. Release that mudra. Leave the left hand where it is. Float the right arm up. Palm turns up. Palm turns down. Palm turns up. Palm turns down. Now, over rotate if you can. You might get a little arch in the body. Rotate all the way down and in. Now, my mother did ask that one of us turn around because she's having a hard time translating this into mirrored work on Zoom. So what I might do is ask Ori today if she will turn around. She and I are going to poke each other in the eye. So I'm going to move forward. So if Ori will turn around, she's way better at following directions than I am. There we go. So we've got that right arm out. Now take that thumb, turn it down, lean forward, take that left arm and slide it out in front. So we've got a downward turn of that arm. This is a bit the way we feel in a debate. Somebody takes your arm and twists it, and then you have to go, no, no, but my truth is, now we're going to sit up, that left arm's going to travel overhead, the palm turns up, and now I've got a right angle between left arm and right arm. Breathing in, breathing out. The hands come together overhead. Find those interlocking links. Truth and perception. Breathe into it. And then the left arm drops out, the right arm drops in the lap, and then palm is down, palm turns up, palm down, palm up, palm down, palm up. I'm going to pull Ori. There we go. Her arm is going out of the screen. Palm up. And then start to lean. That palm turns down and back. And then that palm turns up. Now, if you've got clicking and burning going on, you've either lived a very adventurous, wonderful life, or you've had an injury, or there's just stuff. That's called crepitus, if you have no words for what's going on in that shoulder, or no diagnosis. So just make sure there's no pinching or burning or numbness. This time we're going to lean forward. That palm turns over and attempts to face the ceiling. We take that right arm, shoot it straight forward first. Then we breathe. Our emotions and our body twisted in ways that we don't understand. And then we're going to bring the truth in. We're going to rise. We're going to turn the left palm up. We're going to reach up. We've got a nice L in the body. And in that left hand, either truth or perception. If we lead with heart space, others will know the truth about us. True heart space. The links come together overhead, interlocking. Fan the fingers wide like little antennas. Yes! Reaching for more source and more information. Breathing in. Breathing out and release. The hands reach for the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. Not all arms will tuck back. We grab on, we lead forward with the head so that we're getting a real intense stretch out of the top of those shoulders. And then slowly wobble the head from one side to the other. Noticing, oh yes, just notice it all. Oh, I used to hate when my instructor would say, just notice. And I wanted him to tell me, what do I notice? What do you want me to notice? And that's not the way he rolled. Just notice. Right ear to right shoulder, hold it there. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Left shoulder, left ear. Breathe it in. And breathe it out. Head comes center, the chin drops down just for a breath before the arms go numb. And then the chin stays down, the arms drop to the lap. Holding. Squeezing through thyroid space. So if I'm holding, I'm pressing the bottom of my jaw down into the tips of my collarbone down here. My thyroid gland is right there in front of my neck, shaped like a butterfly. As we get older, it kind of starts to stutter and sputter for most of us. But this is like squeezing all of the dirty sink water out of a sponge. We press, we hold, we press, we hold, we press, we hold. Then when the chin comes up level on the next breath, the blood that couldn't get in because of the squeezing rushes back in. And then whoosh, any impurities, like magic, go out with it. Breathing in, breathing out. All right. Right ankle, right thigh. Or if that doesn't work, the shin, or bring it all the way up. If you need to help it, then help it. All right, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take that right arm across the chest. So for those, okay, we got right ankle, right thigh or shin, right arm across the chest. We're gonna hold with that left arm. And we've got that little, I don't know, it always feels like a football thing to me. Flag on the play. Not that I'm much of a football fan. Lift up through the crown of the head. And then this will be a little more intense than usual. We're going to take that right shoulder down toward that right ankle. Yes. So you can stack that left fist on top of that right heel if you want to, just to hold. And then here's the challenge. Truth versus perception. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Wait, wait, wait. I can. Oh, what a blessing. Breathe around the stretch. You may feel some exacerbated pulls where scar tissue lives. And the breath will just stretch through those pulling spaces. We don't want any popping or burning or itching. Next time you breathe in, let the body rise. Take those fingers, put them together, find those two circles. Reach straight up. Point the left toe down into the floor. Lean back in the chair. Either keep the toe on the floor or lift it all up. And you might want to play with the fingers. So I have one way that I want to go all the time. Boop. But what happens if I switch the way I'm crossed? Can I still function properly if I do it differently? That leg comes down, the hands release, we fold forward. There's your low back stretch, your hip stretch. Make sure that foot on the floor is planted right underneath that knee, or still on the same side with the same leg. Head hangs heavy. Now the goal here, you can see Ori's back, which is actually really nice. She is going to breathe into these angel wings back here. She's got those scapula back there, the shoulder blades. The goal is I'm going to lean forward. Yes, get out of that back, the low back, once the stretch happens, and get up into the upper back. One more big breath. Yes, roll that body up. Expand the arms out to the side. So Ori and I are going to do the Yogi hokey pokey here. Dislodge that leg. Let that right leg float out to the side. Either put the toe on the floor or let the leg hover. Yes. Core work. Chair yoga's for old people. I've had so many people say that to me, and lovingly to my face. Oh no, I don't do chair yoga. Chair yoga's for old people. Okay, I got some folks in this world with some really strong core spaces. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Oh, put it all down. Let the body rest. Beautiful. Motions like that take us into the food body. I can't, how long can I hold on? How long is she going to talk? When do I get to put my leg down? No, right. Go into the breath. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. And now the yoga, the breath. Around all this funky stuff we do, it's the breath. Left arm across the chest, left ankle on top of the thigh. Do them independently of each other if need be. I'm going to move this microphone so y'all don't have to listen to my armpit. I'm sure if my armpit could speak, it would say volumes. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Now left shoulder toward that left ankle. Drop it down and in. I make a hot potato with my fist and I put my fist down on top of that. You may not get there. So you may have to separate a little bit and hold in. That QL muscle and that upper, that glute med, not upper, but that glute med back there, that QL and those erector spinae might be just that tight. If I am perceiving my having to stay home as isolation, as lockdown, yes, I am experiencing all kinds of emotional issues. If I've moved through that and I perceive it with some sort of newfound freedom, well, that might be different. It might be getting worse for some of us. It might be getting better for some of us. That body pulls up and in. Oh yeah. We lift, we slide those fingers together. We reach overhead like we're diving into the universe. We breathe it in and out. Elongate the waist first and then dive over those legs. So if you're down here at the shins, just make sure that you dive into the thighs so that you don't slip out of that chair. You might be able to come down and grab onto that ankle, but with knees and hips being what they are after certain issues in life or accidents or age, you may not be able to get that ankle right on top yet. We hold. What is my body perceiving? Next time I breathe in, I roll up. Yes. The arms slice out. We're going to take that leg right off the top. We're going to slide it out to the side. And y'all know, if I ever miss anything that I plug into these exercises, just pretend we missed those. And we hold through here, right in through all of this core space. Let those muscles sing all the songs they haven't sung in a really long time. And then slide it down and in. And find the space. So some of what that card was saying as I interpret it is that we can go and we can look for information. Where are my sources coming from? We were talking about this morning. Is this a viable source that we can quote? Is this a source I trust? Through meditation, through yoga, a lot of the sourcing needs to go inside. A lot of it needs to draw in and come from a loving space before I start to dig for information. Arms sweep up. Oh, I know what I forgot. Uh-huh. Lean back. That left ankle comes across or it comes up. Lift. Yes. Or he was like, I'm not saying squat. So if the toe is on the floor, look at that. Look at that. She's taking up for everybody out there. Breathe it. Inhale it. Embody it. Come from a loving space first. Bring the fingers together. Make those circles. Put those legs down. Sweep forward. Ankles right under knees. Forward fold. Belly on thighs. Head hangs heavy. Circles remain. I was listening to the guru we sat with India with, and she's such a wise soul. And she confirmed, in her own words, what we've been talking about a lot lately. No matter what I believe, with information being readily available at all times, I'm going to be able to find information to support what I believe. Yes, it's wonderful. And then we add the and. Is what I believe coming from a loving space? Am I looking something up out of love or out of anger? Right. Tough place to be. Press the feet into the floor. Keep those circles. Press, lift, press, lift. Circles go up overhead. Sit the body slightly forward. Walk the feet a little wider. Press. Bring the tush up out of the chair. If that's not safe for you, then put the hands on the side of the chair. Stand up the way that you know how to do it best. But I'm now currently belly drawn in, heavy in my legs, with my interlocking truth and perception out there. Is this difficult? Or am I merely holding on? Am I choosing to suffer here? Press down into the floor. Lift the circles. The death grip my two circles had on each other just then. I had to loosen them. Truth and perception were trying to meld. Arms release, hands float out and down. We find the belly space. Stepping into love. One of you guys, we sat in your house and talked about that once. What would love do in the situation? What would love do? I'm so angry. What would love do here? Can I let go of the perception and restart from love? Oh, it is so hard sometimes, isn't it? Walk the feet together. If you need the chair for balance, put it off to one side. We're going to move into some larger stances to try to work through those hips, plus to work through this leg energy. Leg energy is just, that's my grounding energy. But if I feel like I'm hovering because my truth is being disturbed, I'm being told I am wrong, or I am being told this, or I'm being told all those, I'm hovering. So we're going to ground down. We're going to get our bodies back into the proper context. So feet hip width apart at first, belly draws in. We pull leg energy up in and around that little tailbone point. Shoulders roll up and back. And then once the shoulder blades are in place, your angel wings are locked in, interlace those circles. This time, try folding the fingers in and find the space where the hands want to rest. We're going to shift to the right and shift to the left. The body will perceive what it needs to perceive from the shifting, but we are also gathering information. When I shift left, does my hip fire off? When I shift right, does my foot hurt? These are all pieces of information that we need to know. Next time we shift right, that right hand sneaks up and out. That left foot comes out to the side. I'm going to take that right hand, slide it forward, sit back into my tailbone, and hold here in my quad. Now ask the energy from the body to slide down through the sole of the foot. Grounding the body, grounding the tension, breathing in, breathing out, lift the body, arm sweeps out to the right, slide that left foot in, interlock those circles, and start shifting again. Back and forth, back and forth. And then opposite way, we're going to go into the left, and then that foot's going to slide out. Left hand reaches. We hold here at the space that we're reporting from and gathering information from. And then we bend in, reach forward. So I've got that forward slide. So these forward bending motions are fantastic for bone health up in the spine and up in the ribs. It's pretty easy for most of us to get real strong bone density down from the hips down because we do so much working, you know, walking around, cleaning the house, pushing a vacuum, doing those things. But from the hips up, bone density is tough. So we hold, we breathe around it if it's tough. We come out of it if it's not for us. We breathe in, we breathe out, slide it up, pull it in, and then shift again, interlock those circles. The heart rate should have gone up. You should be a little more hungry for air. Chitta vritti nirodha. That is one that's hard to roll off the tongue some days. And now the yoga. If you have a chair, you may need it. We're going to pause in the center. We're going to take that right foot, step it way back. So I'm going to go way back into this unless I need a short stance. Do your thing. Knee over ankle, shoulder blades up and back. So the belly wants to hang out. Had a baby in there one time. Easy for it to fall out. Pull it in. Guard the spine with that abdominal wall. I've still got my circles. I've got my heel up. If you need to put that heel down, just know it turns the torso. So then you have to turn the torso back. It can also torque the knee when you turn that torso back. So heel up or short stance with heel down. Lift, woo, those circles up and overhead, and then pull. Pull on the truth and perception. They may slide out until the fingers figure out how to hold. You may need to wrap the other fingers around it so that you have help. Sometimes when truth and perception start to stir together, we get confused. Start from love. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Release the circles, the arms fly out to the sides, palms up at first, then pinkies slide together out front. We're going to tip into that front leg, and then we're going to tip away. Tip in, pranam as an offering, and then pull away. Tip in, offer. Pull away, ask for truth to fill the hands, then sweep it up overhead, let it rain down over you. Hands come down to hips, step forward, and land. If you had a hand on a chair or the wall the whole time, make sure you do it on the other side as well. Breathing in, breathing out. Find those circles. Notice whether information you're getting are from sources You know, this could be old programming from childhood. What is coming through? Is this something I went through at school? Is this something I went through in a marriage? Is this something that my children and I went through? What is the information? All right, left leg steps back. Read the information, because if it's old programming, it might not be true. Siblings, they do funny things to us. I was fat and stupid. See, having brothers, God bless you. Lift, pull those circles. And what do I know now? I know I'm not. Pull, because the truth and the perception get so close together, and the context can be so blown out of proportion. I worshiped my older sibling, and the things that I was told were not true. And yet I believed them. Okay, now I have the choice not to. Are my truth and my perception in this day and age, are they getting garbled? Come from love, breathe in. Let the arms sweep out and palms up. Pinkies come together, reach for truth, come from love, slide forward into that thigh, lift it up and back. I know the leg is getting tired, but we're grounding this energy. Slide it forward and lift up. One more time, slide forward, lift up. Truth in the hands, throw it up so that it showers down all over you. Hands to hips, step the feet together. Circles come together in front of you. Breathe. Our quads are our sugar burners, our fat burners, our energy eaters, our grounders. Notice if you're heavier in your feet now. If you're not hovering anymore, breathe in, breathe it out. You need a chair, make sure it's close by. We're gonna step in, hands into the chair if you need the chair. I've got my circles here. My right foot is gonna step back. And then I'm gonna take those circles back up overhead. I'm gonna pull and activate the side of my body so that my bone structure is hugged by my muscles. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Sweep those circles forward and then release. Come down into the back of the chair if you need to. Not everybody needs to. Some of us can hold here in a full pranam. Some of us have back issues or hip issues or knee issues. If I'm down into the chair, I pull down, but I got one more breath in a hold. And then the hands come to the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. I can even put my hands down on the bottom and set my head on the back of the chair. But a nice hamstring stretch for the left leg. Excellent stretch for the right calf. Breathing in, breathing out. Now, some of you are able to do this without the chair. So you lean all the way down and in, and you tuck into that front knee, trying to smell the fabric softener on your pants or wiping the sweat from your brow. I always call this part of yoga pants the sweatband. Down there on the leg. Breathing it in. Breathing it out, walking back up the leg if you're down there, or walking merely up to the back of the chair. Bend that front leg, launch that back leg up into a supported warrior 3. Bend the elbows and check in. Am I really heavy over on the left side of my body so my leg is sliding out? Or is my heart space right over the center of the chair? And then I've got an equal lean. I see this a lot in class. And that's the dominant bank of muscles in the back trying to hold the posture up. So then all I'm actually doing at that point is exacerbating that overbuilt muscle structure. So then the goal is, the yoga is to come into union, male and female sides, right and left, coming to center. That leg slides down, feet side by side, find those circles, lift them up. A nice tall lift overhead. Breathe it in and release it out and down. Strong mountain posture. Hands open to receive. Thumbs curled in, rounded posture. Protecting small ego, hurt feelings, hurting heart. Palms open, ready to receive. Breathing it in. Breathe that yoga out. Last grounding exercise. Step into the back of the chair if you need it. Left leg steps back. I ground both feet. I bend the front knee if I need to, but then I'm going to miss the hamstring stretch. Bring my circles together, lift them overhead. If I need to release the circles, I release the circles, because I am in control of my own health right here, right this moment. I reach and I dive into the cosmos if I can. I'm heavy in those feet. But if I need to go ahead and let those arms melt down onto the chair, then I do. One more breath. Spine strength. Melt down into the chair. Folded arms on the back. Head drops in. Or I come down into the seat of the chair. And then, so here's the thing. We call this sassy hip at one of my yoga schools. So I can come way out into that sassy hip and get way away from that hamstring stretch. But the yoga is the balance. It's not the balance. Sure, that's great in yoga. But if I'm over here, where is my center? So I bring it back into balance. Yoga means union. It's that pulling in. It's that balance. Beautiful. If you're all the way down in the floor, you're down in the floor. The next breath has you start walking up to the back of the chair. If you do not need the back of the chair, then you simply fly the way you want to fly. We bend in, we lift, and we hold. Now, we've got a really nice long line. Tip of the head down through the base of that heel. The spine isn't being pulled. So pretend you've got a fence rail between your legs and you've got to squeeze that fence rail so you don't fall off. Because if this is sliding away, I'm flying away from the posture. Truth and perception. I might think I'm in the center. That's why mirrors are great in yoga. Breathe in. Breathe out, the feet land. I sit up. I find my circles. I lift overhead last time. Finding all the breath. Heavy in the feet. And then which foot am I heavier in? Can I readjust my stance so that my weight is the same in each foot? Sometimes our truth is something that we've developed through repetitive action. And then is it actually truth or perception? Breathing it in. Let the arms float down. And breathe. Hands to belly. Hands open. Whatever is going to broaden the chest so that the love is evident. So here's your homework. Next time you're watching the news or somebody says something, watch what happens to your body. Catch yourself. Freeze yourself in the moment. I'm watching something with displeasure. Jaw clamped, tongue pushed into the roof of the mouth, head shaking or not, shoulders roll forward. Chin juts forward. Disapproval sees the floor. And a lot of us have bone structure issues, disc issues. So if I'm seeing the floor, okay, but lead it with the heart. Oh, isn't that a lovely floor? Bring your chair back around. Have a seat. My mother sent me an article once. Well, not an article. It's a short story. You can turn around. Oh, there we go. We'll see Ori's lovely face here. So she sent me this article when I was in Korea, and I had decided to move to Korea, and I was so excited about being in Korea, and I had all of these perceptions. Land of the Buddha. I was going to become enlightened. Didn't happen. I became miserable. I developed a cage around myself. I was one of 5 full English speakers in town teaching to these Korean kids. I loved it, and I was isolated. And I was going a little nuts, and my mom sent me this thing. So I'm going to take my right foot, I'm going to send it out, I'm going to plant my left. Make sure your sits bones are nice and planted. So either foot, doesn't matter, I've got my right foot out. I'm going to plant my hand on my opposite thigh, and I'm going to reach for my toe. Now, if you need a strap here, because it just seems too far away, grab your strap. And a lot of you have heard this particular story. And it was about 2 prisoners in jail, and the prison was out in the desert. We breathe in, we breathe out. We sweep that right hand up, reaching it up to the sky. Shoulder blades sneak back into the chair. So now I have a really long line all the way from my fingertips to my toes. Unless you're in a high back dining room chair, then you just got to figure out how to make it work. Lift your heel an inch off the floor, the long leg. So the story goes, 2 prisoners, cells side by side. And every day the prisoners would go and look out of their cell windows. And every day one of them would lament the desert, the never-ending desert. The sand, it's dry, it's hot. Cactuses and tumbleweeds and the heat just waving off of the desert. And I had to read this, of course, because I'm a storyteller. I read it with all of that angst. Breathe in, breathe out. The heel lands. We lift through the core and then back for that toe. Back down, and in we go. If you're reaching for shin, you go shin. You reach for toe, you go toe. And then it switches to the other prisoner. The other prisoner chose to look out of the window at night. And the other prisoner would look up at the sky. And in the desert, for those of you that have been there, you know that the sky is cloudless. There's not a lot of light out there. The stars sparkle like you can't see on the East Coast. We know what that's like. They were bright, shooting stars. You could see the planets. The moon was bright. And I was like, great, nice story, Mom. I had to have my inner nasty commentary. Lift the body up, plant that foot side by side, step the feet wide, hands on knees at first, lean in, get into that inner thigh stretch, and then either sweep the hands down to the ankles, leave them there if they need to, or sweep down into the floor. So of course I had my own inner commentary, and this is like frozen in my mind for all of eternity, me sitting there reading this story. I was so homesick. And here my mother sends me this parable. And then I read the end. And it says, something along the lines of, depending on your perception, you can look out of your window and you can see sand, or you can see stars. And that's why moms are great. Body rolls up, my hand goes to the thigh, hand goes to the thigh, we roll up. Heel toe in. Opposite leg goes out. We reach up, we lift, and then we bow down onto our toes. Beautiful. It's just a long hamstring stretch. Come out of that low back. So I used to perceive, I have scoliosis, I have scoliosis. Oh no, I can't do that. It's going to make my back hurt. And then I met my husband, who was a kettlebell instructor, is a kettlebell instructor. And he says, you want to do kettlebells? And I was like, oh no, I'll hurt my back. And he says, why don't we try? And actually, from swinging a heavy weight around, it made my low back pain go away. Now, that's not for everyone, but I had protected my back from the perception that I was weak for so long that I was not strong enough to hold myself when I needed holding. Lift, slide, arm reaches up and back, shoulder blades into the back of the chair, long line, beautiful long line. Then come into that core space because we are strong enough and lift that heel an inch off the floor, just an inch. Pull that quad, pull that kneecap up. The energy sourcing in. To thine own self be true. That heel comes down. We lift from core center back down to the toe. And we hold. So for some of us, we look at those toes and that's sand. Because we're here, willing like a Jedi. I need those toes. Or those are my stars. I'm going to reach for my stars. I'm going to reach and I'm going to go and I'm going to, maybe in another lifetime, I'll get there. Breathing in, breathing out. Roll that body up, step those feet wide. Again, tall in the torso, bend in and through. This time, we're going to bring our circles in under our heart. So if letting go of these thighs is a bad idea because of your body structure, keep the hands here. But if you can bring those circles in, label one hand sand, label one hand stars. One hand is sand, one hand is stars. Is your truth sand or stars? Or is your truth both? Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Right elbow slides down or the other. You're going to do both sides. So reach through that side body. Breathe. Loving it. All of it perceived through the heart space. Breathing in. Breathing out, slide through the other elbow lands. We lift. Oh, yes. So if we've got a compromised body, one side of the body may be your sand and the other side of your body might be your stars. The body is the body. Can't pull it apart. Can't slice it down the middle and go, this is the good side and that's the bad side. They're connected. Breathe it in. Breathe it out, back through center. Hands down first. Lower in as far as you can go, and then cat and cow. Lift that spine, arch it up, and then drop it down and in. And then cow belly turns into cat belly, and then back, and forth, and back. Pardon me, moving this. There we go. And then pull about halfway in and start to make barrel rolls. For some of us, this is difficult. We've never asked our body to make a hula hooping motion while bent forward, okay? So there's a stirring exercise that we do in yoga. It's a breath technique and it's a muscle technique. It's I only show it to very few people. People give you that circus freak look when you do it. Pause, go in the other direction. Nice barrel roll. You want to pull in, but this mimics that. And it's meant to stir the energies, to cleanse the colon, because you guys know I love to cleanse the colon. I love talking about the colon. It's all about getting out the bad. the toxins. One more time around, squeezes the kidneys. And then one more cat and cow, drop that belly again. Roll that spine up. Tuck the shoulder blades into the back of the chair. Lean back like a disinterested middle schooler that's in a class they don't want to be in. Feel all of this. Every time I eat something, my body is created from it. I eat a banana. This is my banana. I eat a tomato. This is my tomato. I eat a full bag of potato chips. This is my potato chip. Notice the brain's perception when you stop. And then take the mind to the breath, the filling and the releasing. Now pretend every time you fill, that squeezing, that pressure inside hugs your soul. And when you release, it gets a little reprieve, but then you fill again, hugging your soul. And then it gets to relax a little more into you. It leans in, and then you breathe and you hug it, and it goes, yay! And then you release it. One more breath. Let the body sit in any way that it needs to. Eyes stay open or eyes blink closed. We'll start a process of releasing. We'll start at the crown of the head because we're going to go down and ground the energy. So start at the very hair follicles. Some of us have a lot, some of us not so much. No judgment. See if you can perceive the hair follicles. My screen may have blinked off. I have on Do Not Disturb and I'm still getting a phone call. Go figure. Phone calls are phone calls. No big deal. So hair follicles. Then move to the tips of the ears. Does it feel like something is pulling up on your ears from paying attention? From having your eyebrows raised? And if so, take the fingers and just put them on the tips of the earlobes and just give yourself a gentle pull down. And if you just want to envision the pull down, just visualize it. But if you want to physically do it, and you can do so without pain, give yourself a little tug. And as you do, notice what your hearing perceives. If you need the physical touch, slide the fingertips to the corner of the jaw and start to pull from the corner of the jaw down to the tip of the chin. If you've got a little facial hair going on, just give yourself a good scrub and a good scratch. And if not, just rub through those muscles. Allow the top teeth and the bottom teeth to release. And then ask the tongue to settle into the base of the mouth. Give yourself as many rubs and squishes as you need, but when you feel like that process is done, release the hands. Tongue stays in the base of the mouth. Teeth stay parted. Move to the skin around the eyes. Can I release the squint? Can I release the doing? And then for 1 solid minute, we breathe. Allowing the air to come and go. Red sits at the end of the light spectrum and has the longest wavelength. When light penetrates water, red is the first color to be filtered out of the visible spectrum, and it is almost impossible to see in depths of 100 meters or more. In the deep sea, red marine life is all but invisible. The rusty red of Uluru in Central Australia, Monument Valley in the US, and the planet Mars is due to the process and presence of iron oxide. Likewise, blood is red due to the interaction of iron and oxygen. As red circulates in the veins of many animals, it is readily available to color their bodies for flagging danger, showing dominance, as a mark of aggression, or in courtship rituals. Red mushrooms are dangerous, but strawberries are sweet. This plethora of meaning in the natural world is reflected in the human world, where red can symbolize love, anger, urgency, passion, frustration, heat, sexuality, willpower, embarrassment, and danger. Red can be outstanding or invisible. It can indicate speed or be a signal to stop. Red is a free agent with no set rules, and here reminds us to put things in its proper context. Truth versus perception. Take a deep breath. Chair yoga is for old people, is a perception. I am light is a perception. My brain on a quantum level can reach out and send blessings and prayers. Truth, perception. With our 3 last breaths, find what you perceive, whether it's energy, body, mind, soul, whatever you need to do. Belly, ribs, collarbones. Any sound you like to make or just sigh. Breathe into the belly. Breathe into the ribs. Fill yourself all the way up. Use your body and your mind as the filter, with information on the way through the heart. Namaste. I love you all, and I love you too. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I